All right. So we are in session 38 of Descent into Fernia.
That didn't work out.
Who would like to start with the recap?
We were driving. I think the method was the smoke method was the session before, but we were driving on our way to the queen, like the queen, the undead queen, or I don't remember her name. And
Feanor.
yeah, I remember Feanor, and we argued for a while who was going to drive. Oh wait, no, that was on the way back. We argued who was going to drive. We debated who's going to drive in such a way that we could still get a full rest. So we went to go see Feanor, and as we approached where her domain was, this like dark wall just shot up, and it seemed like it went around. Like there was this large kind of dome force field around her domain. We got out. I think Vegnog and Ewan got out and like reached through, and we realized we could pass through it, and there was kind of squishy on the other side. We decided to drive through anyway. And so we drove into, as we passed through, we saw, unlike it, so it was like, I don't know if it was blue skies, but it was closer to an atmosphere similar to Eberron, or more like our world. And we were driving through these marshlands that were filled. It was like a lot of peat bogs and fens and stuff. So we were driving through. We were able to slug through most of it. We were able to drive through most of it.
Very slowly, but yeah.
Slowly, yeah. We were able to turn off the cooling system because the temperature was rather pleasant, at least more pleasant than Fernia. And we were able to, I think we were able to breathe easier as well. After a while, we wanted to figure out what was at the bottom of these of like one of the holes. So I think Ewan cast control water.
Solomon cast destroy
water.
I just suspected that there was bodies down in the bottom, and I was proven right.
Yeah. So Solomon cast destroy water, and we ended up digging in that spot before the water seeped in, and found bodies of various different types, after which we surmised that Feanor was using these peat bogs to preserve all sorts of bodies at the bottom of them. We had a visit from a spectral form of herself, or like a projection, which she told us basically to leave, or else. Although she was a Arenali elf who was, she wasn't like dead per se. She just wanted to be it sounded like she wasn't dead. She was just here to like be, have time to her experiments, and be undisturbed, and we were disturbing her. She didn't seem particularly worried about Predator guy. Though we did offer, we were looking for anything we could get. So we were asking for some sort of proof that we could show that we took care of her, because we thought it'd be hilarious if we like showed her the proof, got stuff, maybe, and then he came in and just got wiped out. She also seemed wryly amused by that. So she gave us a ring, which is which has this aura of evil around on it. We left there, and we did consider stopping at the edge so we could take a long rest while we were in a comfortable climb, but we avoided doing so because when we asked to the air, hoping that she would hear us if we could have safe respite for one more night. We didn't hear an answer back, so we just jetted out of there.
Aired on the side of caution.
Yeah, and I think that ended up being a good thing. It was one less thing to deal with. And then we were dry. We also learned, she told us about something about a circus. There was some sort of circus on the beast's back, which was the thing that the creature we were seeing walking around.
You're muted, Kurt.
So I thought it was some sort of store on the back of the giant monster.
Yeah. And she said that, and the point is that was a place that we'd want to, where we could go to seek help. So I think we were heading to I think we left the session, ended the session where we were heading towards where we last saw that creature. We also debated for a while about how to drive in such a way where we get a full rest. And I think we landed on that Vegnog through Sentry's Rest could drive and rest at the same time, for the most part. And yeah, so we were resting on our way there.
Right, because Vagnog can just, yeah, exactly.
And at some point we had seen the giant creature in the distance and it just seemed to vanish into nothing.
That's right.
So yeah, so with Feanor, she actually did appear to be somewhat of an undead creature. You just weren't able to identify what kind of undead that she might have turned herself into or was. And then additionally, when you guys asked the air to be able to stay, I think Vagnog, you did notice that there were specters rising from the ground that seemed to be heading towards you guys in response to that. And then she recommended the Wandering Emporium, which was on the back of the creature. Although
if you want to make it a circus on the back of the creature, I think that would be fantastic.
And yeah, Vegnog, I think what we landed on was that you could drive, but if at any point during that time you required to any kind of maneuvers or anything, it would be it would break your rest essentially. Also because you don't have anybody that's keeping watch through the periscope or the watch seat or whatever we're calling it, the viewing seat. You would have basically limited vision and disadvantage on any of your perception checks.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think we landed on calling it the Peeper's Nook.
There we go, the Peeper's Nook. So you guys have this ring, and you could bring it to the Shadow of Death or you could continue trying to find the Wandering Emporium. Or also, Feanor mentioned Azoth the Wrecker as the person that she is concerned about. So those are a few options worth considering, or there may be other things that maybe your characters are considering. So we'll say, Vegnog, you've managed to make it the night. Nothing big happened, so you guys have gotten your long rest in. And so now you can go ahead and determine or talk about what are next steps.
I mean, I
Is
think
there
we
really
already
a question? We can
leading.
either go back and see the Predator guy who might just kill us when he finds out we survived the assault against the person he was afraid to go against, or Circus. I say Circus clearly wins.
I mean, we have something to show that we did what we needed to do. It's likely he would just try and go there and be slaughtered.
If we can find beast, then we can, presumably it's on the way to where we last saw him, so we can find the beast, check out the circus, and then go see Shadow of Predator.
Yeah, I mean, we can see if we can get on top of this creature, whatever the hell it is. Though it did sort of vanish very suddenly. Head in that direction, I guess, see what we can find out.
Feanor said that it does not vanish for long periods of time. So presumably, if we drive around enough or find a nice spot to camp out, we'll be able to find it again.
How does it help us if we take the ring back to the Death Shadow?
He promised weapons.
For our machine air.
And we expect he will keep his word?
I mean, I expect that if he tries, I think we have a chance.
You are more optimistic than I am.
Well, then it especially sounds like we should go see if we can find something on the back of this creature to make ourselves more powerful before we go back to him, to give him the ring.
Indeed. I am not against this.
Hopefully next time we run across it, we don't have to drive through roiling storm clouds at its feet. It will make it very difficult to scale. That creature was like straight up. It was like a wall.
So can you describe the creature again, Mike? Because I am just picturing Godzilla in my head, and I don't know if that's accurate.
There's a picture.
Yeah. So let me bring that up for you guys.
Oh, no. They say you got to go, 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 Godzilla.
Yes, I could have sworn it had an easily drive-upable tail, but apparently not.
No.
Why am I?
I mentioned last time we have to
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus this motherfucker. Just climb up the son of a bitch.
My only, I hope that we are so small that it doesn't even feel us attempting to scale its furs. But let's attempt to find this thing.
Okay.
Head in the direction we
So-
saw it last.
Oh, that's- All right. So, I believe so this is the Flame Keep Cathedral. You guys are here. This is Mad Maggie's. And I think
That was the hill? Or was it number 5?
that was here.
5 was Haruman's Hill.
Yeah. And then yeah, so this is the city. And then this is the bridge that you guys saw that you can cross. So it's around here that you last saw that behemoth.
Oh, maybe it went for a swim.
In lava? I mean, maybe this creature doesn't care. Walk through that storm cloud easy enough.
So after a day, you guys are probably pretty close to here of driving. So as you continue on across the Fernian plains, where let's bring the map back to the car. So where is everybody right now within the vehicle? Is that where you guys are?
Presumably, Vegnog would be driving, so this is
Well, I
the
mean-
driver's seat, right?
I think everybody's woken up. I mean,
Or, yeah.
Yeah, Ewan gave you a crash course in terms of how to drive, but you don't actually have proficiency. So, I mean, you're able to do the basic functions.
Yeah. So when Ewan would wake up, then Vegnog would have surrendered control, happy to be done with this infernal machine. So he'd resume. He'd be at the periscope and the peeper's nook.
Okay. So, Vegnog, give me a perception check. Ewan, you can do so as well, but with disadvantage. Okay. And then actually, Solomon and Lux, you guys can also do perception checks, but what you guys would potentially perceive is a bit different. Okay. So you guys are plotting about continuing on in the vehicle. The bumpiness of the terrain is kind of a regular rhythmic sort of thing at this point, in terms of how it's jarring the vehicle. Clearly, this vehicle, the shocks are either working and the terrain is just really terrible, or the shocks are really stiff and don't really absorb the shock too greatly. But after a while, Solomon, you notice that there's like even with all the bumpiness going on, there is a kind of rumble or shaking that you can feel.
So I would call out to Ewan and Vegnog and say, hey, are you driving over rough ground? Because it is beginning to shake back here. Find a level patch.
Does it seem bouncier than normal?
Mm-mm. Seems to be pretty similar to what you guys have been traveling through.
Seems fine up here.
Well, there's definitely a shaking.
Got a flat tire or something?
I suppose we should check.
Are you getting ill? Do you have sickness?
No,
Do you need? Then is shaking bothering you?
no, but we should check the tires.
All right, check our surroundings. Let's make sure we're not going to get ambushed by anything before I start stopping.
Yeah. So does Zegnock see, like, kind of doing a 360 scan? Does he see any creatures or anything out of the ordinary?
Go ahead and give me another perception check.
That's pretty good.
Okay. So, Vegnog, you do see something strange. In the distance, you see these bumps rising up out of the ground, going up and down. And every time they go up, they're in a slightly different spot. So it's almost like a whack-a-mole, with these things kind of coming in and out of the ground. But and while the motion or the pattern seems random, it is getting a bit closer. There is a general movement, and it is in your direction.
Is Vegnog able to deduce like what, not necessarily what these bumps are, but like what they're made of? Do they appear to be like, does it appear to be like the earth or like the ground, or does it appear to be some sort of skin or some sort of thing that would presumably belong to a creature?
It looks pretty rocky, but it's hard to tell because the relative size and just, you know, it's hard to because when they rise, they don't stay up very long. And it's like the motion is so random that it's hard to like pick out any one long enough to get a good sense of like its texture, what it's made of. But you would guess that it's dark and rocky in texture.
There is something coming towards us. It appears to be something huge within the earth. I can't tell exactly, but it's like giant bumps, spires rising up and down, coming into our general direction. They appear rock-like, but I'm uncertain. It's tough to tell.
Perhaps we need to move out of the way. At least we will then see if they are chasing us.
Did you say something, Tony?
Yep. Yeah, I haven't stopped, so see if you can find us someplace to go that might be safe from whatever the hell this thing is.
Of course. And I guess would see, you know, as in my 360 roundabout look, would I notice like are we like on flat open ground? Is there anywhere that we could feasibly go to like,
And it's
covered?
pretty flat open around this area. There is kind of a, if we go back to the map. So even though these are mountains here, there's some of those mountains around. So like there's some rather large rock formations to your right. But those are probably about a mile away.
Do we have a, like, you know, I guess it probably could do compute math problems on the fly, being being a part machine and all, but is there a sense of like when or how much time we might have between when this thing will get close enough for it to be dangerous, where these bumps will?
Give me a survival check.
Nice.
Plenty of time.
Yes, you have plenty of time.
All
In
day.
fact, the random motion of these things rising and falling, it may not even hit you. It may be going in a different direction.
Well, I don't see any. I don't see. There are some cliffs like a mile away, but we're pretty flat open ground. But I could be wrong. This thing could be just going a different direction. And my sight's just playing tricks on me with that Fernian air.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Hell, man. Better safe than sorry. Better pick up the pace.
I was going to
And
say,
go-
well, then no problem. Full speed ahead.
Sure, same thing. Pedal to the middle.
So, Ewan, you're giving this the vehicle maximum speed, but now the rumbling that Solomon has noticed is easily noticeable by all of you, and it is getting more intense.
Maybe we got the like bug body stuck in the wheel well.
That stuff still following us? I'm gonna assume yes. Which direction?
We're heading we're heading east, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's coming west.
No, they're behind you.
Oh, they're behind us.
Coming from our 6 o'clock. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shall we see if this fucking grabber thing is up to snuff?
I mean,
If
may
it's-
not have.
Yeah, it's coming at us, right? And it seems like it's catching up to us. So let's do something here. Can I hit the e-brake and fucking whip the tail around and
Give me a vehicle check
sure.
using dexterity.
Fernia drift.
Yeah, all right. Can't be that hard.
It's a little jerky. You don't hit it quite as smoothly as you would have liked. You're trying to pull it off cool, but it comes off a bit more effort than you wanted to make it look. But you are able to do it. And now you have a better sense of sight of what you're looking at. Ewan, go ahead and give me survival or nature check.
Sure. There we go.
Okay. So it's weird. It's just like Begnive described. It's like these kind of rock formations, like coming up and down out of the ground in a random order, in random spacing, and in a general fashion, just kind of getting closer. And then with the car reversed, and are you actually moving towards this thing, or are you just kind of waiting?
No, I'm gonna stop and like fucking hand on the whatever lever or something to activate the grabber thing to see if I can time grabbing whatever the fuck it is.
Okay.
So now that they're closer, how big are these things?
They're probably 2-3 feet coming out of the ground, probably about maybe 6 inches to a foot wide. And then Ewan, are you the one that operates the grappler?
I mean, I don't know.
I think
I don't
mean,
think we've ever.
It's up here at the. Yeah, we never know.
We never used it.
We
just got it.
We just fixed it. I mean,
fixed it. Yeah.
so if we go to player characters, vehicles, demon grinder, the layout.
For what it's worth, a demon grinder sounds like a ridiculously delicious sub.
It does.
But all this hot sauce just smothering it.
you can't take apart the brood witch.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, so as you're preparing to operate the chomper, there's something explodes out of the ground, and it is followed by more of these things exploding out of the ground.
Are they like right on us?
It's a pod of bullet sharks or bullets, and as they are now kind of by you, many of them are just leaping from the ground and diving back in all around you, and there's now constant shaking as multiple of these creatures are like pounding into the vehicle as they're trying to emerge from the ground, and just like it's just absolutely rumbling chaos, and you can hear the metal grinding as some of their fins are scraping against the bottom of the vehicle, or they're leaping into the vehicle and knocking it about.
Stop. Let them pass.
I did stop.
I thought we were like still going.
No, I stopped it because I was going to try and grab one.
So what are you guys doing in response to this? Because it's getting pretty bad.
I imagine that Lux and I are being flung about, and Project Israel.
Mm-hmm.
But there's otherwise not a lot we can do from the inside. we're not in a position to really do anything.
So they're like assaulting the vehicle.
So
we're banging into it.
Yeah, from what you're seeing, it's so chaotic, and the vehicle is like it's like Star Trek, where it's like with each impact, but
Sparks fly when we fly away from the console.
yeah. So actually, everybody inside, give me a dexterity save.
This will go well.
Okay. So Ewan, you get knocked back out of the driver's seat, and you're in the process of flying backwards, and Solomon as well. You seem to be like getting flung across the cabin. Lux, your save was good enough that if you wanted to, you could potentially step in and save Solomon or Ewan from their whatever's flying fate may have for them.
Well, Solomon's tough. He can handle it. I don't know about Ewan. Solomon needs to toughen him up. So if Ewan's driving, right?
Well, not anymore. He got flung out of the driver's seat, but you can see that Solomon looks like he's about to knock his head into like the overhead cots, whereas Ewan looks like he's about to crash into the engine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't need Ewan crashing into the engine.
Okay, so go ahead and describe how you, from being in your seat with this rocking motion to getting into position to save Ewan from his flying fate.
Given how we're positioned, describe especially how you run past your son.
So as I'm toking away in my meditative state, enjoying this view of these wonderful creatures that are jumping in and out of the ground and everything's rocking, but I can't tell because it's probably part of the trip anyway. And then I see Solomon bouncing around, and it looks like he's about to hit his head against something, and he's hard-headed anyway, so it's not going to bother him. And I just sort of like gravitate, I wouldn't say levitate, but just gravitate that way with one of the, as it rocks, I just kind of follow one of the motion, one of the impacts, and just kind of almost float over to where Ewan is about to hit the engine, and I grab him.
Okay. And then as you grab him, how do you deal with the force of it? Because I assume being an 80-pound elderly half-orc, you're not just kind of absorbing him into yourself and catching him.
All 200 pounds.
Unless you are. I mean, maybe Granny's got a kick now.
I kind of redirect him and then maybe like spin him around.
Okay.
And blow some smoke in his face.
Like judo.
Okay. So you do that and manage to save Ewan from getting knocked into the engine. Solomon, you hit your head pretty hard on the edge of one of these cots. And you can feel blood beginning to leak from the wound and start to sting your eyes as you start to see red. Now, with Ewan out of the driver's seat, there's no time to do any kind of maneuvering. And Vagnog, you were able to keep into your seat, and so you can continue to view what's going on right now if you want, although it is hard not to hit your face on the viewing thing, the viewing nook, as all this rocking is going about. But you hear the grinding of metal, and eventually the whole vehicle is knocked to its side, causing everybody to fall against the side that is now on the ground. And eventually the rocking subsides and the quaking of the earth passes.
Whole fucking
Is
herd of
everyone
these
okay?
things.
Lux, are you hurt?
Yeah,
I
man.
saw you saving Ewan's life.
I'm fine.
Solomon,
Check
on the
that
other
cod. I think Solomon hit it with his head. Is it damaged?
hand. Is Solomon knocked out? Is he bleeding or take any damage?
Solomon, you can decide if you wanted to be knocked unconscious or maintain your consciousness.
Solomon says, elbow tablecloth.
Yeah, he's fine.
He looks fine. Well,
There is blood coming out of my head into my eyes.
He whip himself again.
I will inspect the damage from the outside. See if we can at least turn this over so we can sit in our regular seats.
Yeah, we on the door, or is that the side we're on?
Yes, but this vehicle has top hatches that you're able to go through.
As long as it doesn't tilt the fucking vehicle further, get and land on us.
So Vegnak will pop open with the top hatch and peek his head out.
Okay. So when you peek your head out, you see that in the distance these creatures that seem to be able to swim through the ground as well as water are continuing on their way, going farther into the distance. Many of them have stopped, like full diving out of the ground and diving back in, and it's resumed to its more muted, just having their top fins like piercing the ground and returning into the depths.
All right. So Vegnog is going to crawl out and inspect the vehicle for damage. See how badly it got beat up.
What skills do you have that might help you understand whether the vehicle is taking any damage?
Well, I'm proficient in investigation. So I would imagine I could easily, like, being of the machine, being somewhat of a machine myself, I would be able to, and also having my pro license in driving that I got through my online night class. I would imagine that I could probably take a poke around and see if something is at least like major things, if it's inoperable.
I'll let you use an investigation check.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah, so you see that the underside of the vehicle is surprisingly simple. much of it is heavily armored as the rest of the vehicle, and so any internal parts seem to be hidden and protected beneath the armor of but there's also you can see some major dents all across the bottom, which may have already been there or may have been caused by these creatures. You don't know because this is the first time that you've seen the underside of it. But you do notice that some of the dents seem to be in the area like between the wheels. And if they're significantly deep enough, if there's something connecting the wheels, then like an axle, then it may impede the movement of the axle.
So Vegnog, after like maybe 5 minutes, Vegnog pokes his head back in through the top hatch. There may be potential issue with wheel. With the there might be broken axle. The vehicle is actually in a pretty good state to do repairs since it's on its side to get to the bottom.
Lucky us.
Maybe Ewan or someone who knows cars better, vehicle, Hellfield or Infernal War Machines better than me can take a look and see if they can repair it or see if it's worth trying to address now before we ride the vehicle and try to continue.
Yeah, I'll start getting out.
So will I.
You staying in there, Lux?
I'm gonna peek out and see what's going on.
Okay. So, Vegnog is able to point out the areas of damage that he was able to ascertain on the bottom of the vehicle.
So where are the land sharks now?
Off in the distance.
So
And,
I will
and fading further into the distance.
Okay, so after I ascertain that they do seem to be moving away, then I would sort of come around to the bottom where the axle is and say, "Metal swap joy Prethol."
Is that the car term?
Necklace single lump quarter.
Oh.
You're muted, Tom.
Just looked at Vegnog, or it's just like, "Hey, buddy, why don't you go? Let's go lay down." And I just looked at Vegnog. Do you know how to treat a concussion by chance?
I'm just gonna lay down there and like curl up.
I do not. He looks like he could really use his mother right now. Lux, growing up, did Solomon have any? Did you have any sort of ritual when he got concussed that you would do to make him feel better? Slap him upside the head a couple more times, or
Straighten out his brain.
He'll be all right.
do you have any Is Lux just did you multi-class, or is Lux only just a monk?
Yeah, just a monk.
He'll be fine.
Well, if he doesn't shape up, we'll have to consider what our options are.
What do you mean?
Well, it wouldn't be fair to leave someone in such a state just wandering this place.
He's laying down. Look.
He usually just heals himself.
Let's have a look at this vehicle, huh? No matter what, we need to get this fucking thing fixed. Let's fix the thing that we can fix.
Ewan, give me a wisdom check. Okay. It occurs to you that the biggest issue is not necessarily fixing the bottom, but righting the vehicle.
Uh-huh. Are these two not equally large in issues? Even if we write it, we still can't fix it.
So, Vegnog has pointed out to you the areas where the dents are. And so you do see, and with your knowledge of vehicles, that where axles may be, there are some significant dents. But so one problem is you can't really tell without taking off the armor plates to see the extent of damage, if any, there may be to the axles.
But the armor plates are dented.
Right.
Well, hopefully they did their job.
Right.
I mean, I suppose we could see what happens if we, while it's up like this, just hit the gas a little bit and listen for any grinding.
I can do this. I have learned how to use gas pedal.
Yeah, good. Just
Press
it lightly.
He's gonna crawl right in, and
like
he'll start revving.
5 seconds. That's it.
He'll start revving the engine.
So how are you going to do that?
What do you mean?
Because the vehicle is on its side.
Well, yeah. So the vehicle's on side, but if you hit the gas, the wheel's still going to try and turn. So like I expect the thing to just sort of start shifting a little bit.
So
he doesn't have to sit in the seat necessarily.
Right.
He just has to
I'm not.
the pedal.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering what you think that, or how you are kind of positioning yourself to try and do it, because it's like, are you? I guess. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a wider cabin. So you could stand basically on the engine where you put the soul coins to reach to the pedal and push it with your hand. When you do that, the wheels, the wheels are on the ground, so it causes the vehicle to kind of rotate around, kind of like curly. like whoop, 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 when he's on the ground doing that spin.
Right next to where I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, get up.
Yeah, so that is actually an accurate concern. So how does that work, or what do you guys do when you realize that the vehicle moves like that as Solomon is sleeping on the ground all curled up?
I like to think that I would have seen the potential for that as Vegnog was getting in. I'm fairly observant. Passive perception of 15.
Okay.
I could just pull him away a little bit.
So he is fully armored. So go ahead and give me a strength check to see how well you can.
I got an 18 strength. What do you mean? He ain't that big.
Yeah, certainly.
I can pick him up over my head.
His
Okay.
drag weight is 30 times 18, so.
Okay, that's fair. So yeah, the vehicle, the wheels seem to move. There is a lot of grinding. It's hard to know if, because of the vehicle with the way that the wheels are positioned and that it's kind of driving sideways on the ground and kind of corkscrewing, the wheels seem to be functional, but there is a grinding noise. Now, whether that's because it's on its side and scraping against the ground, or there's some grinding within the undercarriage with the axles, it's hard to differentiate.
Well, that's what I'm out here trying to figure out. Paying very specific attention.
Okay, give me a vehicle check with wisdom.
Wisdom, maybe? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the axles definitely seem to be grinding. Likely they're rubbing against the armor. It's not great, but the fact that they are turning and that the wheels are going is a good sign.
Okay. Hopefully I'll just call out and say, yeah, all right, you can stop.
What? I can't hear you.
Stop.
And Vegnog will pop his head out.
Stop.
Is it working?
Got enough information, yeah.
Good. Shall we write this thing?
If we could take back some of this armor, just a little bit, it would help a lot. It'll work, but it'll be very loud. It'll probably be very loud inside, as it's gonna be grindy.
I don't think that'll bother my hearing organs or lack thereof. Will that make you deaf?
There'll certainly be no sleeping while you drive. Well, not for most of us. Lux will probably be fine. All right, buddy, you still alive over there? Solid.
I'm asleep. That's always that's the go-to recommendation when you have a concussion, right?
Yeah.
Sleep it off.
I know that, but I don't think you does.
Solomon used to know that. We'll see.
He wasn't very smart to begin with.
I'm gonna go check on Solomon and look to see how bad he's hurt. Could do like a medicine check or something.
You don't need a medicine check to see that he is pretty hurt. I mean, the gash across his head, it's fairly deep, and it's still bleeding a bit. He's also been saying nonsense words, and he's now currently sleeping on the ground in full armor in the heat of Fernia. So you don't need a medicine check to see that it's pretty not good. Now, if you wanted to see how you might be able to treat it, medicine check might be helpful.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Go ahead and make a medicine check. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, it's hot out here. Should we bring him back inside?
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, so definitely getting him out of the heat will be helpful. Lux, he, without healing magic, he's gonna need stitches. And also, he probably does need a bit of extra sleep to help with the cognitive effects of the concussion. So, are you trained in medicine?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So yeah,
Neither am
you
I.
wouldn't be able to apply stitches or anything like that. And I don't even know if you guys have any kind of medicine kit.
I think Solomon used the last of it.
Yep.
I mean, I got good decks, and we got some string.
Are you proficient in like clothing or? Anything
I mean,
of
if
sewing nature?
somebody was proficient in medicine, I would say that with a good check, they could create makeshift supplies.
It's definitely not Big Nog.
What's Project Ezra about?
Whatever he's got, it's in mallet space. If Lux, you wanted to use an action point, you could easily make some makeshift medical supplies from what you have.
Yeah, I'll do that then. I'll spend an action point to do that.
Could I just help instead of doing that, or?
So the action point is more to substitute the knowledge, because I mean,
we've all been banged up and fixed before, right? So.
Right, but it's also kind of like, how do you make the needle out of the makeshift supplies that you have? How do you not just get the cloth but break it down to use the string in a way that's effective? So I would say that requires proficiency in order to do that, and without proficiency, an action point. So even if you were helping, if you didn't have proficiency, you wouldn't be able to really guide
That almost sounds like a survival type of thing.
It's more meta. Well,
I mean, especially since this is just a choice I randomly made. Getting bumped on the head.
okay, I'll give you survival then. I'll give you a survival if you're proficient.
Are you proficient in that, Lux?
No.
Damn. 'Cause I'm not either.
That sounded so good too.
I tried. What about Vecnog? We don't know what he's got.
Actually, since Dustin took a minute, why don't we use that as an opportunity to take a 5-minute break?
Okay.
He is not proficient in survival.
What about medicine? Probably not, right?
No. Yeah, otherwise he would have doctored him up right away.
Just tried. Tried.
Sorry about that.
Oh, what?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, my taking a break. I really had to pee. My internet.
Yeah, it looks like it's glitching out.
My internet. Can you hear me? Yeah, my internet's going through one of. Are you still doing that practice? Like helping out with that practice?
Rugby practice?
No, like didn't your friend have like a
Oh, doing the private practice stuff?
private practice stuff?
Yeah, still doing that. Which is good.
Nice. That's assuming that's all virtual too. And you can use it
Yeah.
from your own. You can do all that from your own computer.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going well. So usually about an extra $1,000 a month just for a couple hours a week.
That's it's nothing to scoff at.
No. So things at work are getting really dicey, so it's looking more and more like I really need to focus on transitioning to this more full-time.
Is there an opportunity to do that?
Yeah, the only problem is to count towards the public service loan forgiveness, they have to maintain full-time employment somewhere that's a 503c.
How many more months do you have on that?
Somewhere between 4 and 5 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it sucks, but at least the good thing is all this time that the loans have been paused count towards it. So
Yeah. One of my friends has been he got his doctorate in his MD in pharmaceuticals, and yeah, that's his plan. He's been in university hospitals for a while. But yeah, he was really excited about that pause, the pause still counting towards your allotment.
yeah, it's going to be crazy when it ends, because I don't know what they're going to do with that, but it's like we've gone what is this, almost 2 years now without paying student loans, and now all of a sudden people are going to have to start paying them back, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because, like, you know, with them even just pausing them with no interest, it just demonstrates there's no reason that we have to deal with it. There's no reason that they couldn't cancel all student loans. So
I don't know the details of this, but has the federal government been paying the interest over these 2 years? I always wondered, like, how are the banks surviving this pause?
well, so that's the interesting thing, because I don't know where that's coming from, but I mean, they're federal loans. So they are, you know, handled by various banks, but the interest has been zero since the pandemic started, and the payments, nobody has been required to make any payments. But so I don't know where that money, whether the government is paying for it or how that's working, but it's just yeah, it's one of those things where it demonstrates that the government can do something about it. It just has chosen not to until this time, and it will choose to try to go back to the status quo, which is just insane to me.
I mean, I'm sure I don't know the details of how student loans used to be handled differently.
Yeah.
Like Sally Mae used to actually be like a government agency once upon a time, and they spun it out so that now private banks are actually putting up the money. But I'm back when Sally Mae was really government run. I could understand how they could pause it without anybody having to worry about paying it. That was really sort of the time to cancel student debt and start over, maybe, but it's not what they did. So somebody at the end of the day, yes, they could just cancel all student loans, and they should consider it, because in part because things have gotten out of hand. I personally think, though, that the reason why things have gotten out of hand is that universities have sort of taken advantage of the fact that these loans are out there and cheap. And frankly, me too, I didn't take out loans when I was a kid, but I was equally dumb as most college students are. And so if I had taken out loans at that time, it wouldn't have felt like real money to me, because it would have never been in my account. It would have just come from somebody I don't know to the university. I would have never really had my hands on it. And so for me, it wouldn't have mattered so much, like, how much money is this? What's the interest rate? And how long is it going to take me to repay it? Because I just wouldn't have thought through those details. Not really. I might have been
It's
vaguely
monopoly
aware of
money.
them. Right.
Yeah.
And so universities have realized at some point that they could just keep jacking up tuition, because people will still take out the loans. Banks will still cover the loans. They can't be discharged in bankruptcy, so they're pretty safe. And so now we have this weird system where, and it's not this way in most other countries in the world, where people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just to go to school.
Yeah.
That's
I mean-
that's absurd. Even for the great schools, that's absurd. You could, if you were in the UK, you could go to Oxford for about $20,000 a year, not 150.
The
Gee.
further complicating factor that I think that you guys are missing is that having a bachelor's degree is basically required for any sort of job, any sort of job nowadays. And
I agree with that. Go ahead.
But so there's an incentive. So that used to be that the employers were where they were more incentivized to train and keep employees, but now they kind of force credentialing to externally to universities to not really certificates anymore, at least that I've noticed. But they force credentialing outside, so they don't actually have to pay it, and so it feeds into the schools, and so there's like a lack of like they just don't want to pay to make people marketable, and so you do that through schools, and yeah.
I mean, I found like when I got out of law school, I did not know how to be a lawyer. I actually had to be trained to do what the job actually requires. Like law school was an interesting like base for some stuff, but it really wasn't geared towards the day-to-day work. It was mostly designed for a different type of law than most people actually practice in the real world. So there was definitely a year there where if my name was showing up on any client's bill, the client was essentially just paying for me to learn how to do the job because I was next to incompetent. I didn't really know what I was doing. What I think has happened is that so many people have college degrees that employers have gotten a little lazy and decided that I have this whole pool of people and I don't have enough, I can't hire everyone. So let's just take all the people who only have high school degrees and just throw those away. And so consequently, we're now in a position where if you only have a high school degree, you can't get a job. And it doesn't matter whether or not even a lot of cases, people's degrees have nothing to do with what career they're about to embark on. So it's just like, well, I guess they're smart enough and have work habits enough that they made it through college and got this piece of paper. And they're just using that to weed out candidates who maybe couldn't have made their way through college and gotten that piece of paper. I mean, I agree. You need a college degree now, but I think it's sort of it's part of a really sort of bad system we have. Like I said, in Europe, it's just, this isn't such a big problem. Healthcare and education aren't as crazy in Europe as they are in the US. And I don't think it's it's not the government's fault or people's fault. It's really a combination of things all going haywire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think, though, if they're going to cancel student debt, they definitely still have to pay the banks, or else come the next year, the banks are going to say, we're not making student loans anymore.
Well, it's already happening. I mean, my loan servicer is changing because they're getting out of student loans. And so it's like, it is already consolidating, and, there are institutions that are no longer doing it. So.
Right.
I don't even remember who originally had my loan. It's changed hands so many times.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like what you were saying, Kurt, with it being monopoly money. When I was in grad school, they basically wrote me a blank check, and not only was I using it to pay for school, I was using it to pay for all of my living expenses. And so now, I mean, it is a stupid amount of money I owe. Like it would make you sick if I said it.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking people who are pretty young and don't handle money, and you're sent to, like you said, it's a blank check. How much do you need to make it through school? So consequently, everything gets more expensive because these people are pretty insensitive to the overall cost. Like I don't know many people who would have said, "Oh, I can go to Yale or I can go to my local state college, but I don't want to take out the loans." Like that might be the way your parents think about it, but that's not the way most kids do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but before anybody spends an action point, Solomon will spend an action point to get himself out of this. I would like to spend an action point to cast Lesser Restoration on myself without a verbal component, or at least with the wrong verbal components. As
Okay.
I sort of wake up and groggily say, "Mouth gain a cake space. Prize update, crew cheap joint pop." And then I begin to glow with a divine light. And a silvery radiance that sort of fizzles out and flickers off against the walls inside the cabin. I still feel dizzy.
But you sound better.
What do you mean?
You were not doing so well. You spoke
mean-
words, they were unintelligible.
I mean,
That is incredibly rude, and I am offended. I am very intelligible.
yeah, no, don't worry about it. You were just as intelligible as you normally are.
Why is the vehicle on its side?
Oh, we got tipped over.
There was a herd of bullets.
Do you happen to have any method for warping metal?
Me? No.
Yeah. You're the one with the magic. And that other one that's
We
disappeared.
can. We can grab it by two sides and put all of our muscle into it to bend it.
If only you had Alyssa, she could probably do it by hand.
Dagnog looks at his -1 strength arms. This is not happening with me.
As soon as we get out of Fernia, I am putting you on a workout regimen.
I do need to work out what work out how to get
You need to get those dwarves to get you an arm like this. I got full strength here.
So what is the ground like around us? Is it earth or stone or what?
So it's a lot of ash and soot, but there's also a good amount of stone in the area.
Perhaps we should go and capture a bullet and ride it back here.
To do what with?
Have it tip the vehicle back over.
Just gotta find some, large stick, decent sized rock.
Why?
It's called a lever. It's a simple machine. But they're very potent.
I don't see how that would help us here.
Don't you worry. Vegnog gets it.
yes. I am not simple machine.
It's true.
I am complex. I get these things. But like, so the bottom is warped. I know it's like it's got all bumps and stuff, but like, does it look like and it turns? So we just really got to get this thing righted.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
we could get the dents off of the axle to stop it from grinding so much, it would go a long way. Because otherwise, we're grinding through our axle, and who knows what the hell will happen later on down the road. It'll work. It'll work fine until it doesn't. Maybe we can find somebody who could fix it on top of that beast.
We could always bring it back, bring it to Maggie. Although she will, if we visit her again, she will ask for something in exchange. She always wants something.
We can give her the evil ring. Although
in
Mad
place.
Maggie, wasn't she like way back that way?
I do think we passed her up, yeah. Either way, we're traveling. Honestly, I would rather not see that wench again.
Should we not try your stick and rock approach first? There are plenty of stones here.
Just need a big enough one and a solid enough. Something like a
Something
Chunk
like
of a-
an adamantine rod.
that would work beautifully. In fact, that
Do
is
you have-
absolutely perfect.
Do you
I
have
don't
such
have one.
things?
Somebody has one, right? Doesn't Luck have one? Everybody just sort of looks over to Lux.
Shit's making me paranoid. She goes back inside.
So I just want to find a solid rock that I could put up here, sort of near the near the vehicle. How big is that adamantine staff? Is it
Like 10 feet or something.
10 feet? Like extendable or what?
Yeah.
It was extendable, yes.
10 foot's perfect. Hey, Lux. I borrow that adamantine rod there.
All right.
Are you staying in the vehicle? Because
She hands it out. Why? Yeah. Supposed to.
I mean, I'm gonna see about flipping this thing back over. Just be careful if you're staying in here.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. It still might take a couple of us here, so I'll find a good spot for, get a good wedge down in there and put the fulcrum fairly close.
I don't want the fuck room anywhere near my mother.
So, because you said that you were using a rock.
Yeah, I mean, if we can find a good enough rock that I could drag over, or whatever, something that I can use to, it's the fulcrum. So,
so I would say that there's a rock that you guys can probably carry over. It's going to take all of you to carry it though, because it is very large and you need to take some time to dig it out as well.
can't be too big because I only have a 10-foot rod.
Yeah, but it's also awkwardly shaped, and it's a good size, but it's going to take all of you guys to do it.
Spend an action point, I can cast stone shape.
Do you you have that spell prepared?
I said if I spend an action point because I don't have it prepared,
Oh.
but it's on my spell list.
If you wanted to spend an action point and cast that spell, you don't even need the lever. You could probably just pull the rock from the ground and have that force the vehicle to it's right-sided.
Yeah, but we went through all this effort already.
Also, I want to see how he's going to tip this thing over with just a stick and a rock. Because in my head, that is not working.
Okay. So you guys all working together are able to pull the rock over and get it out. Probably takes about an hour of work to get it done. And then now you have it positioned next to the vehicle, such that you can create the fulcrum with the rod acting as the lever.
In light of this much work, it'll be about an hour and 10 minutes because I'm definitely going to at some point stop and take off all my armor. Because this is all outside work.
Yeah. In fact, that's a good point because it's going to take an hour. Everybody give me a Constitution check.
Constitution check.
Check or save.
Oh, nice.
Where
Because
is it?
it makes a difference for me. Is it if it's a
Makes a
check or a
difference to me,
save?
too.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a save. Sorry, I haven't looked at these rules in a while. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong place too.
Action point. What the fuck in shit? This is the session. This is when it happens. It's when I roll like fucking garbage.
Yeah, you crit fail to move the vehicle and it actually rolls on top of you and we all go up the road.
So dumb. I get +7.
Yeah, so it's DC 15. Wait a minute. No, that's wrong. I'm looking at the wrong rules.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna say DC 15 for now, and I'll double check it later because I don't want to take too much time. So Vegnog, Solomon, and Ewan, each of you take a level of exhaustion.
Sweet.
Was Lux actually outside helping?
No.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, she saved
Lux
so
said
easily.
She said she was in the. I asked, like, hey, are you staying in here? She's like, yeah.
Well, then I heard that we all had to come out and move this rock.
Well, you're not very strong either, so it's really just me and Solomon doing all the work here.
No. I'm supervising. We're supervising. We have one supervisor per person working. This is the right ratio.
You can have as many as 3 people working below you.
So it's a lot warmer out here than it is in there. So finally get to warm up.
If you're the only one in there, you can adjust the thermostat though.
We get in there, it's even hotter.
Yeah, that's where you actually take the level of exhaustion.
All right, so you got the fulcrum set up. Who is going to be, how many of you are going to be working? I would say with a 10-foot long pole, probably, yeah, all of you could probably help with that.
Yeah, we could most definitely like all either pull on it or hang on it or something. So
All right. So who is going to make the check?
I mean, with all of us working on it, we get hyper advantage, or
Yes.
what does that mean?
So,
But two of us are exhausted, so that cancels.
Shit.
So it's 2 levels of hyper disadvantage.
Right.
well, Vegnog's definitely not going to make the check with his -1 modifier for strength, but
Yeah,
he'll help out.
Athletics.
yeah, it would use athletics.
Once again, I get a 7.
So here's what it would do if it were everybody was not exhausted. So Ewan, if you were making the check, you would make the check. For one person, you would get advantage. And then for each additional person, you would get a +2 in addition to that. Now you're exhausted. So one person cancels the disadvantage. A second person grants the advantage. And then another person would give you a +2.
But there's 2 of us exhausted.
So then
So we
And I'll
roll
tell you,
normal.
I am
We
planning
just
on
roll with advantage.
I am planning on casting enhance ability bull strength on Ewan.
okay.
Maybe that helps.
Can you just post that spell in the chat?
Advantage +2. I don't know.
I just want to
Add it all together. I
see
don't
if it works the way that I'm thinking it works, because
know. And my carry weight's doubled.
okay, so with that, I would say that because of the spell, it even negates the exhaustion. So you would just roll with advantage anyways, Ewan, with the bull strength, which then means that every person would give you an additional +2 since you already have advantage with Solomon casting the spell.
All right. So I'll roll it and I'll add a +6 to whatever I get there.
Now hold on, I wanna get this on film.
We could all die if there's a series of net ones. The car rolls over on top of us. Thank you for playing Descent into Fernia.
Credits roll. Credits roll. I mean, I've been rolling fucking terrible the whole game, so I have one good roll. All right, here we go. 7. Yeah, all right, yeah. So athletics here with advantage +6 on top of what you see. Hey, look at that. 29.
Okay. So it takes a couple of heaves to get you guys.
Glad it wasn't a nat 20 because I'm sure that would have fucking kept rolling.
Into the lava.
I feel like there's like one of those Bollywood movies where somebody like kicks a car into space or something like that, or is like juggling a car. But yeah, so it takes a couple of heaves to get you guys coordinated and all pulling at once. But once you're able to do that, especially with the magic coursing through Ewan from Solomon, you would be able to right the vehicle. Also, Ewan or Solomon, what does it look like when you cast that spell?
I imagine that briefly you see like an image of a bear, like a spectral bear forms around him, and then it just sort of shrinks into his skin.
Cool. So yeah, the vehicle is righted now.
It enhances my luminous tubes. Even more luminous and even more tubes.
It's almost like you greased your luminous tubes into the shape of an outline of a bear.
Like a roaring bear.
That was incredible.
Especially since it was bull strength. Why was there a bear?
Do you have bear inside you, Ewan?
Not that I'm aware of, but you know, who knows?
Oh, let's get inside. It is hot out here.
Agreed.
Lux, you coming?
I guess so.
Okay. So once you guys start up the vehicle, you get it moving. You can hear it grinding, the axles grinding against the metal. And it's definitely impacted the speed that you guys moved with. But you are able to move. You are able to proceed forward, just not as quickly as you would have liked. So we started, you had already been traveling for a day to get to about here. So now, especially with the slowing of the movement, you get to about here, and it would be the end of the adventuring day. So are you guys going to try and, well, I guess with the grinding, you wouldn't really be able to rest very well because it is quite loud in the cabin. So you would need to actually stop to rest. So how do you guys want to proceed with that?
So Vigna would imagine that, like, you know, after driving for probably at least 24 hours straight, minus the brief stop we had, like, imagine that, like, he would want to actually stop the shaking of, like, the constant motion of the car and just, like, be still for some time.
We should definitely stop.
Set
up some watches, and
I guess as we're getting to the point where we'd stop, you know, Vegnog would, being in the peepers nook, would be looking for places, you know, whether they are like kind of like cliff sides or areas that we could, like, kind of park the car into, that might provide some sort of cover, at least from, like, sight.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, you know, like just a sheer face that gives us cover on one side or something. But just kind of keep a lookout to see, like, for kind of optimal camping spots.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a survival check.
One of those is good. All right.
So yeah, you're with the terrain around here. There are some more rock formations. They are a bit strange. It's almost like the the boulders are jutting out at an angle, and are maybe even made of like some kind of glass material. But there's several of them are quite large, and it's almost like they're like these jagged, like I don't even know what you would call it, but you could definitely find one that's large enough to park the car beneath, which it is wide enough and tall enough to give you kind of like almost like a leaning shelter of sorts, where it does like completely blocks you from sight from like that angle, because you're completely behind this outcropping. And then it gives you a bit of shelter from anything that may fall from the sky in terms of weathering or anything. So it does allow you to have a much more defensible position.
Sounds good.
Let's pull off over there. There's a seems like a good place to rest.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sounds good.
All right. Anything that you guys doing before you get your rest in?
Set watches.
Well, I mean, Vegnak doesn't sleep and can just like stay watchful the whole time,
Yeah, but
unless Ewan has an itch to watch.
necessarily have an itch. I just have a paranoia. That's all.
So I will say this, with everybody except Lux being exhausted, it might be helpful to have Lux at least take one of those watches, because that would be 2 hours where there's at least one person who doesn't have a disadvantage on their perception checks, if you want to go that way. And if Lux is willing, because she might not. Or able, she might have smoked too much.
No such thing. Yeah, I can take a watch.
I mean, this is the first time I've ever wondered what's the ventilation like inside the vehicle. Is it just like all smoke all the time?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a hot box in more ways than one. So at what point do you guys address that then with Lux?
To spend the whole time going. See if she takes the hint.
Amateurs.
But Solomon will take the last watch.
Hey, Vegnak will take one of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll start off.
Okay.
Whenever in this game we set watches, it just reminds me of Brendan, Project Israel, taking his watch and then immediately just going back to sleep.
That was brilliant, because it allowed for that entire encounter to happen in a totally different way. All right. So who's taking first?
I was gonna take it.
All right. Give me a perception check. Okay. And then who's taking second?
Vegna can go second.
All right. Give me a perception check.
There.
All right. Who's taking third?
Lux.
Yep.
Okay. And then Solomon, you're taking next.
Mhm.
All right.
Totally safe. Nothing happened.
How many soul coins were eaten?
Gotta watch for those smoke things. Make sure they don't like sneak up on you. No, Vegnog would be watching out for them. Like even when it's not his watch, he'd be like keeping one eye open for those things.
Oh, I meant to send that to just to Peter. Oh well. So on Lux's watch, you guys feel a rumbling in the distance, and it's getting bigger. And then while Lux looks out the viewing nook, all she sees is a cloud of ash.
Does this wake everybody up?
It does not.
I wake Vegnog up.
Vecnag's already kind of awake.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. There, look at this, and I tell him to come over and look out the viewer.
Can I tell how fast this thing is moving? Does it appear to be like a pyroclastic cloud, or it's just like rushing over the land, or is it kind of a slow billow?
No, it's just like a billowing of dust. Like something has kicked up a huge amount of ash and dust, and it's blocking your view.
Is it clear if they're like how high the dust cloud goes?
No, because the dust cloud is kind of encompassed you. So you know that it's dust because if you look in another direction, you can see that the dust clears enough that you can kind of see the billowing of it through, because one of the many suns is kind of poking through. So that's now you know it's like a dust cloud. And as you turn the viewing scope, it gets darker. So you're looking more deeply into it.
Gotcha. So yeah,
and then you have a whole angle of your viewing that's just cut off because of the wall of the shelter.
Yeah. So we're in the dust cloud.
Mm-hmm. But you're also at the edge of it.
Well, it seems like we are in a dust cloud. I wonder if Do I feel does Vegnog feel the rumbling?
Yeah, once Lux mentions it, you do notice it.
Maybe the Wandering Emporium creature is back. We did drive through a storm cloud as when we encountered it before. Just keep your eyes peeled for any of those smoke demons. I don't want them stealing more soul coins. We need those.
Vegnog would go over to Ewan and shake him awake.
Ewan, we may need your driving skills.
Does the driver's seat recline?
No.
That's unfortunate. Oh well. Hopefully we don't.
The creature, the giant creature, we may be near it.
Okay. How would you know? Do I like what's this? Is it like a rumble, like a steady rumble, or like a loud, or like a enormous like stomps?
It's like the T-Rex stomps from Jurassic Park. It's the rhythmic thump with each step. And because it is a four-legged creature, you feel it in beats of 4.
Okay. Can we see up? Like look upwards and see something? Anything?
No, it's too much dust and ash in the air.
Okay.
I would drive us there, but I'm afraid my skills would be insufficient for if we encountered any trouble driving through the cloud.
I mean, we need to be able to see the damn thing to drive towards it.
Can we feel a direction that it's coming from?
Does it really feel like the same sort of rhythm of the beast that from whenever we encountered it the first time? Like the same pace? Because if this thing's fucking enormous, then the pace has got to be like long between each stomp, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems similar to your memory. And in terms of direction, like I would say you guys are probably about here right now. Maybe even closer to here. You're actually feeling the stomps a bit north of you and seeming to head in this direction. So to the west.
It's heading. It's heading west.
Mhm. It's a bit north of you.
All right. So it's going back in the direction that we were just coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the consensus? Shall we drive towards this thing? See if we can figure this damn thing out.
This is our quarry.
See if we
If
can
we
mount this damn
delay,
thing.
then we'll have to try to chase after it, and it will be able to move faster than we will. Especially with our vehicle impaired.
Yeah. I guess I'll fucking put her in drive.
And
Wait, so you're
Vegnon-
gonna you're disrupting the rest then? Because this happened on Lux's watch, so there's still a couple hours.
I mean, I don't know.
Solomon would be fully rested because or wait a minute, who got the first watch?
I did.
So you would be fully rested if you took the first watch. No, that's not true. So you would not be ready. Because you need 6 hours of rest at least, or sleep.
Mhm.
Solomon is still asleep. Nobody's woken him up yet.
Right.
Solomon
So
would be the one.
Solomon would be the one who would get a full rest. Everybody else would have disrupted your rest. So you would still have the level of exhaustion, and I don't think anybody used any of their abilities, but
I use some spell slots.
right, but you got your full rest.
Mhm.
So those would come back to you.
No. I am just
I am.
concerned if we delay in chasing after this, that we won't be able to get to it.
I mean, it's fucking enormous.
But it can also just disappear.
It seems to roam this area of the place. We just find a fucking high up spot and move and keep an eye out for it. Or we wake Solomon up, make him drive, and I try and see if I can sleep a little bit more.
We can do that.
What's that? We're gonna wake up Solomon.
Yes.
That means you gotta guide him.
Well, I can do this.
All right.
So Vegnog will walk over to Solomon. Solomon, we have need of your driving skills. Do you answer the call?
I reach over and slowly pull myself up. Is it my turn for the watch?
We need Well, yes and no.
We need movement.
The creature, it is nearby.
Well, then we should go. And I get up. You need me to drive. Why?
I need to see if I can finish sleeping. Otherwise, I will be dead to everybody.
Very well. So I'll go get in the driving seat. Look out the front. Do I see this cloud?
Mhm.
Is the
Yeah, you're
monster
right
in the
to think of
cloud?
it.
It is to the north, heading west. You can feel its movements, the rumblings. That is the creature walking. We just need to follow them and drive towards them.
And which is it in the center of the cloud? Which direction do you want me to drive now?
North.
Excellent. Which direction is north?
Vegnog would does I guess it would be he would just point in the direction of where the rumblings are coming from.
Ewan is just like taking some old cloth, wadded him up and stuck him in his ears. Just laid down. Hoping to block out sound.
So, Solomon, you're starting the car.
Yes, I will just drive in the direction he pointed.
Okay.
I am not sure that I could myself figure out it, just feeling a vibration, the direction from which it was coming, but I am relying on my co-pilot.
So that's a good point. It's not just a vibration, but you can hear the sound of its feet actually impacting the ground. So you can both feel and hear it. So going on auditory cues, you can have a general sense of where it is. The problem is once you start the car, once you start the car going, all you can hear is the grinding of metal, which Ewan, give me a survival check to see how well you clock your ears.
Did you get all the way in, or did you have to leave a little bit of coverage so the sound can eke its way through?
Yeah, so you're still, it's not helping you get back to sleep. And Lux is not going to be able to sleep through this either.
I feel like Lux should have advantage because she could just get high.
Yeah, it's true. So, do you guys want to power through? And because it's you guys can try to Ewan and Lux and Vegna, you can try and get some rest through all of the noise, but it's going to be difficult. So do you guys want to continue to push through and disrupt the rest, or do you want to rest and then pick it up after in the next couple hours?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we get assaulted somehow during this whole process, some of us are going to be at a bit of a disadvantage. That being said, this fucking thing sounds like it might almost be someplace that's nearly safe.
Well, after we drive through the giant storm and climb up the side of the beast, hopefully at the top, it will be safe. Maybe there'll be an inn. We'll see. And I start the car and start driving.
Okay. Solomon, give me a wisdom check. Okay. So with that, you would know that because of the sound of the grinding, every few minutes, you would need to actually stop the car so that you can hear and reorient yourself to the sound of the monster's steps. You do, as you start driving, you do eventually get out of the dust cloud and realize that the dust cloud is basically a trail of dust, and it makes it to where you can see the general path that this creature has taken. And the reason that you can see that is because it is getting like farther and farther away because you've had to stop and start so many times. So it's gotten some distance from you. But now that, and
Bless you.
and also because of, you know, you're not able to get to your maximum speed either because of the axle. But now you at least have this trail that you can follow, and you can see the creature poking out from the top of the dust cloud. And then as you follow it for a bit, you see it, the top of it, dip below the dust cloud, and then it doesn't reemerge. And then you also realize that you can no longer hear or feel its steps, even if you stop the car to kind of try and reorient yourself.
And just head in the last direction. Apparently it stopped or vanished. We'll see when we get there.
I hope it didn't vanish.
Hopefully it just laid down so we can get on top of it.
If it laid down, maybe we could drive up the side.
Maybe. I'm just assuming I'm awake since I couldn't actually get to sleep.
Yeah. Lux, did you try and sleep through all of this?
Oh yeah, I would go right back to sleep since it's not my
Okay.
watch.
How would you try to get to sleep through all of it?
Well, this technically doesn't. Well, I have stillness of mind, which I can't be charmed or frightened, but it seems like maybe if I used an action point, I could like block out the sound with that.
I'd allow that.
Takes the form of whatever the fuck she's smoking.
Look, she had to learn how to sleep with a screaming infant right next to her. This woman can sleep through anything.
Yes, because we definitely know she just let Solomon cry.
Not much has changed.
Cry it out. Cry it out method.
And then Vegnog, even though you have the waking sentinel or sentry's rest or whatever it is, you still need some amount of peace to get a rest. So what would you do to try and address the noise and the bumpiness of the ride?
Shut the doors to my inner ear canals. But barring that, I guess Vegnog would
We'll say I can cast silence, but I don't have any action points to do anything with that myself. And it only lasts 10 minutes otherwise.
I guess Vegnog would just
deal with it.
Okay. So Solomon and Lux get a full rest in. Vegnog and Ewan, you are still tired, so you maintain your level of exhaustion. You're not at risk of further exhaustion from that sleeping. You would need to go another night without sleeping before that became a possibility. So you just don't heal the exhaustion that you guys have taken on. So Solomon, you continue to follow the path of the creature. As you do, the dust clouds settle and eventually completely disperse. And by the time that they disperse, you find yourself nearly like on top of a sudden town. Like there's like almost like a small village in front of you. Many different interesting buildings and canvas markets, canvas covered markets with people walking through the streets, lots of brilliant colors, and no sign of any monster or giant.
What the flame is going on? There appears to be a settlement here.
I just imagine everybody stopping whatever the hell they're doing as this loud ass fucking machine comes screeching its way into their village.
It may not be the first time they've seen one, though.
Yeah.
I mean, what do the residents like racially? What are they? Are they humans or demons or?
So it seems to be a mix. There's like normal people walking about that you would see that wouldn't be at anywhere out of place in Thrain or Flamekeep. But then you do see more exotic creatures and even some fiendish looking creatures walking about.
Maybe I was right. Maybe there will be an inn. We should at least, wherever we are, I'm sure these people have seen which way the monster went. So at least we can ask if it's around here or if it laid down or what.
So next you notice that not only are there people walking about and seem to be engaging in various different activities and looks to be trade, but you also hear soft lilting music and wondrous smells drifting across the hot winds that seem to be inviting you to take a closer look.
There they are.
So I will find a spot to like pull over so we're not, I assume this is like something like a road that I'm driving on in between these buildings.
Oh, so you didn't stop like right in the middle or anything like that. But when I say it came up suddenly, it's like you broke through the final bit of smoke, and within like like a block or so in front of you, there's this settlement. Like it seems to have just popped up out of nowhere.
Okay, so then I would just drive forward a bit more before stopping.
Mhm.
This might be our only chance to both gather information and to possibly even buy supplies if we need additional supplies.
Yeah. Did we have to use a ration? I forget. We had a bunch, right?
Yeah, so I've been keeping track. So
Okay.
right now, you guys have spent 14 days in Fernia. You have 12 soul coins left, with one soul coin that only has half a charge. And then you have 26 days worth of rations left.
That's including all of ours, or
That's everybody. Yeah.
okay. Because I had like 8 listed in my inventory, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so I just pulled it all together and included it with all the rations that you guys have gotten, and just figured that it's enough to support you guys for 26 days.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get out and start headed towards this town.
Yeah. I'll get out, fucking stretch and yawn, and see if I can eyeball some sort of fucking inn.
Could this be the back of the monster? I don't remember driving up a monster.
Don't remember this either.
What's the ground feel like?
So once you get into what you would consider the city limits or the village limits, it seems to be like, for the first time, you're not stepping through soot, which is kind of like caked across the ground, like 4 to 6 inches of snow might be. Now you are on firmer ground, and you look down and you see that there's actually grass that you're standing on. And then there's also pathways that are more worn down, seemingly dirt paths across the different more popular walking paths between these shops and buildings.
Well, unless he just goes and lays down in holes and we're on top of it.
So as you guys are kind of looking about, you notice an aging human man, perhaps about in his early 60s, approaching you. He has broad shoulders, and he's dressed in really luxurious finery. And he's wearing a handsome suit with a fancy watch. His hair is thick and dark, like a raven's feathers, kind of combed back. And he's greeting others as he walks by, telling jokes and trying to make people laugh. But you can tell that he has seen you, and he's making his way closer to you. And as he gets closer, You can see his chocolate-colored eyes with crinkles around them from years of hearty laughter. And you just, as he approaches, you can feel the warmth and mirth just emanating off of him. And when he looks at you, as he finally gets close enough, he makes you feel like you're the most important person in the whole universe. And then he goes, "Hey, how you doing? Come on in. Good to meet you. I'm Mike, but people around here call me Master Hawkins the Magnificent." Can you believe it? Oh, so cool.
I want an
so-
insight check.
I don't trust him. Not a fucking bit.
Go ahead.
Master
He looks
Hawkins.
secretly cruel.
Master Hawkins, master of whiplash damage, more like. Fuck, come on.
You're a bit suspicious, but Solomon, it seems all genuine as far as you can tell. Same thing with you, Begnog. You recognize one merchant to another. He is definitely your type of people.
So I'm just like, listen, whatever it is you're trying to sell, we don't want it. All right.
Well,
We're just
he hasn't even taken a breath yet. So
I'll interrupt. I don't care. I'm way too tired to hear a spiel right now. Whatever it is you're
Okay.
trying to sell, we're not buying it.
Well, hey, let me just at least tell you guys, because this is it's like blows my mind. But this is my store. You know, I call it the Wandering Emporium. But it's not really a store. It's more like a whole market. Yeah, we've got anything you need, really anything. We got cool magic items, a real nice restaurant and spa, tons of great vendors. Believe me, everyone's so nice and friendly, and you'll definitely find the best deals. Can you believe it? Man, this place is so cool. So
I start like looking around at that. Do you mean we're on the back of the monster?
back of a monster. Oh, that's just my guy.
Your guy? Is he
Yeah.
guy? He's like your pet? Your
Yeah, like a pet.
your supplier?
No.
Could we rent your guy to assault Fernia and save Flamekeep Cathedral?
So, wow, it looks like you guys are kind of doing something big. I wasn't expecting that. So wait, what is it that you're doing?
The forces of Fernia have dragged the city of Flamekeep here, and we are trying to free it, but we need to, at some point, get to Flamekeep Cathedral, which has been plucked out of the city, to save the leader of the Silver Flame, Jayla Duran, who they are keeping captive, using her, ready to sacrifice her to help release a hideous demon. So ultimately, we need to assault Flamekeep Cathedral to save her. And then our hope is, we have been told she will know how to get Flamekeep back to our world.
Well, come on in. We can talk all about it. You know, I'm sure we got some people that could help you. And, and then while he's talking, he reaches out and to shake each of your hands. And as he reaches for each of your hands to shake, and, if you decide to accept his hand or not, you realize at that point how imposing he could be, because his hands alone are just massive. and he can easily make a fist larger than any of your heads. And that's when you realize just how big this guy is. And also, despite his age and demeanor, you also get the sense that he is really capable of wreaking havoc on anyone that might be unfortunate enough to warrant his wrath. But still, based on the sense that you're getting from him, especially Solomon and Vegnog, you don't really know what could possibly bring that out of him. And then he says, oh, by the way, and he gets this real big grin on his face, and like he's really looking forward to showing this off. And he pulls this small pouch from his belt, and he reaches in, and he pulls out a small blue can labeled Pepsi, and a clear package containing a round pastry sandwich. But the bag doesn't seem big enough to hold those things. And he pulls out a couple of them, and he starts like handing them out to you guys. And he's like, anyone want a sody or a little Debbie? I need this pouch, and now I have plenty for everyone. It's just so cool.
I will take the stuff and try to bite into the pouch.
Oh, no. You gotta open it first, like this. And he opens it for you, and then he hands you the pastry.
He still tries to bite the pouch.
Well, to each his own, I guess.
Don't worry, he was recently concussed.
Oh, yeah, I've been hit in the head a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
You okay? Oh, you got a nasty gash on your head too. Here, come on, we can have somebody take a look at that for you.
Where is your shop? You
Oh.
trying to invite us in. Where is in?
I have so many, but the one I'm really most proud of is the 7 Golden Seals. This place, it has everything. It's got a real nice spa and restaurant in there, and it's real nice and relaxing. It's so inviting. I mean, you guys will have a ball if you go there. So come on, I'll show you.
Let me just ask, do you sell drugs? My mother is with us. She has a problem. If you sell drugs, it would be good for no one to mention that to her.
I mean, we have lots of things. I mean, you might find what you need.
That does not sound good.
I got what you need, man.
Well, come on. Let me show you around. Let me introduce you to everybody. You get to know them, and then, we can sit down and figure out what we can do for you.
Sure.
Do people ever leave Wandering Emporium?
Oh, sure. People come and go all the time. A lot of people don't want to go, though. They're really happy when they get here.
I can understand that. Your chocolate eyes are hypnotic.
Oh, I appreciate it, but I don't fly that way. But I'm sure we could find something for you. But that's not me. And you notice that he gets like really kind of uncomfortable with that.
If you have a garage, we should talk about that too. But lead on.
Oh yeah, let me show you. I'll introduce you to Tallow.
That would be great. We could use some repairs and maybe some augments to add some more oomph to our vehicle.
Yeah, sure. We'll get you all set up. Not a problem.
Real question is, what's the price?
Well, things cost what they cost. But I mean, we do our best to keep things reasonable around here. We're this is a business, but we try to do good by people.
Good by people. That doesn't sound like a solid business strategy.
I'm going to go back and get Lux.
Oh, was Lux not with you guys when you did all that?
She didn't say she was coming out, and she has stillness of mind. She probably didn't notice we even left.
Right.
Um,
So let's go to your shop, I guess. It doesn't seem like we're on back of creature. What's up with that?
oh no, it's there. Yeah, it's it's under our feet right now. You wouldn't know it though. It's one of those things that's just like it just works. It works.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but come on in. Let's
lead the
sit
way.
down. Let's get you some drinks. Let's get you some food. I can tell you all about my boys. I'm so proud of them, and they're doing such good things in the world. And then and that there's so many people around here that you guys just got to meet. This place is great.
You're doing good in the world, you say?
Yeah, yeah.
What? Why would you want to do good here? It's nothing but evil.
No, this place is great. Great people, great sights, and we kind of get around in this with this with our beast, that we travel around on. Yeah, it's a good time.
You ever been up there? So like indicating towards the city, floating.
No, I noticed that place just popped there one day. I haven't really seen anything about it, but
The fiends of this place have only assaulted it. That's it.
yeah, there's a lot of bad people around here too. You just gotta know. You gotta know how to talk to people. You gotta and know figure out what they want. Because that's the best part about being a businessman. You get to help people, get them what they need, and then you make a little profit too.
What do people want down here?
All kinds of things. Like I said, we got the garage so people can get like their vehicles and get them fixed. We got an blacksmith, and we got a wizard that'll cast spells and give you potions, or we got all kinds of things. And then the salon, that's a really nice place to get a massage, get a haircut. Or there's the pet shop down the street. So there's plenty of things that people want around here.
I can see that. So how did you and this creature end up in Fernia?
Yeah, like I said, we just kind of go with the flow wherever we can to just get what people need.
Oh,
The various warlords in the area ever visit you?
Once in a while they'll come by, but we have very strict rules. No fighting, no basically no fighting, because we just want to keep the peace. We want everyone to get along. Peace, happiness, and good times. Or rather, it's cheers, happiness, and good times. That's what I meant.
well, we could use a bit of a rest. We were afraid we would lose track of the creature, this creature. So, shall you show us the way?
Yeah, sure. We can even get your car all taken care of. It'll be safe. No need to worry about that. And then we'll get you to where you can get all rested. You can get what you need, and then we'll talk about how we can get you all set and on your way.
Before any work is done, we should discuss price.
Well, it depends on what you want, but most things around here we take soul coins. Some places will take some gold or gems, or there's some we could trade. So there's plenty of ways for you to pay. But everything is reasonably priced. And sometimes there's even deals, some of the shop owners, they have discounts or, coupons and things like that.
So when I come back, I would say, I look forward to seeing all that you have to offer then. Probably don't need the spa. We really don't have time to take a day for the spa.
Too bad. It's so nice.
It would be good to get my joints oiled. They're feeling a little rusty.
Yeah, come on, get your joints oiled. Get the rust taken off. Get relaxing and get all rejuvenated.
Are you offering to oil my joints?
Well, not me personally, but I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that can help you with that.
I would accept such an offer if it were made, but I'm sure we can figure it out.
But you with your caramel eyes or your chocolate, whatever the hell they had chocolate.
Your chocolate oil eyes.
Oh, and then at that point, a big barrel-bodied dog comes rolling in and begins climbing up on Master Hawkins, and it actually has some feathers, or not some feathers. It's got some feathered wings on its back, and it's the same color of its fur, which is like a tan coat, and the dog actually then uses its wings to fly up and begins licking his face, and he's like, "Oh, Lex, get down!" So this is my dog Lexington. He's real friendly, and then Lex begins sniffing at each of you and being all friendly and wanting licks and pets.
At that, Solomon would start laughing because he just thinks it's funny that the dog's name is Lex. And then he points at his mom and says, "You have the same name as the dog."
So we'll end there for the night.
Sounds good. Good old Master Hawkins.
So the character is based on my dad. So yeah, it was ever since he passed, one of the things that I wanted to do to honor his memory was to make a D&D character after him. So this is that.
Nice.
It was fun.
I was just assuming it was you.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too.
Yeah.
Yep. Does he look like he squats 500 pounds?
He looks like he could. But
Nice touch.
yeah.